From athletes to authors, entertainers to innovators, we connect with those who help shape our culture. Join us in revealing stories of their lives and backgrounds, their triumphs and tragedies that molded them into who they are today. Authentically off-script and personally illuminating, this is Audibles with Jason Scarborough. Coming up next on Audibles, Will Hall.
All right, so Amory, Mississippi is where it all started for you. The last time I checked, that town's a little over 7,000 now. So what was it like for you growing up in Amory, Mississippi?
Yeah, it was awesome. So I grew up there really twice. We got there in '84. I was 4 years old, started pre-kindergarten there and went all the way till I was 9 years old. And we moved to Louisville for 3 years, and then we moved back. And so had a lot of great friends, Little League Baseball. Everybody in Amory knows everybody. That's kind of when Dad really got started. We kind of built, I guess, the Bobby Hall brand, if you will. We beat Rosedale in 1987, broke their 40-game win streak. I was 7 years old. I remember standing on the sideline when it happened. We beat West Point when they were rolling that year as well, and made it to the state finals twice. Got beat by Mendenhall twice. One time they blew us out. One time was a really great game. And then we went to Louisville for 3 years and came back, and that's when really got Amory rolling, built a powerhouse. You could argue that it was the best high school football program in the 90s in Mississippi. And, it was a town where everybody knew everybody, a lot of pride in the community, still is. And it's where I met my wife, still got a lot of great dear friends there. And I'm proud to be from Amory. I'm proud to be an Amory Panther. I still love that,
So how would you describe yourself as a child growing up?
I was a gym rat, the prototypical gym rat. I got dropped off at the field house when I was 5 years old from kindergarten. Miss Dot Burrow, Joe Burrow's grandmother, was actually my bus driver. She had dropped me off right there at the field house. The quarterback at Amory at the time was Andy Stevens, who became a high school football coach in Mississippi. He just retired as the principal at Caledonia. Andy was my first hero, one of my first heroes. He was the quarterback. He had a Jeep. And I would get off the bus and I would go get in the Jeep with Andy, and we'd go to Bill's Hamburgers in downtown Amory because practice didn't start till 4. And we'd eat a hamburger and ride back, and I'd stay at the field house till Daddy went home that night. And that was my life, and I grew up around football coaches and football players and thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think we're all products of our environment to some extent. I'm probably at the top tier of that as far as I'm definitely a product of my environment,
Did you have any other interests growing up as a child? I mean, obviously with your dad being who he is, coming from the family that you came from, were there any other interests as a child? Like, this might be what I want to be when I get older, or was it was always football?
I love basketball too. On my mother's side of my family is the McKays. My mother was a McKay, and so you had Larry McKay, my uncle, who was a great basketball coach in Baldwin, Saltillo, won state championships. His son, Jason McKay, is my cousin, obviously, but he's like a brother to me. He's won several state titles at Baldwin. He's the superintendent there. So we were a big basketball family as well. Loved basketball. Was a good basketball player, and but I knew from the moment I was a young kid I wanted to be a football coach. That was always what I wanted to do. Dad was always very blunt with me as a father. It became apparent when I was a young kid. Hey man, you ain't gonna be the tallest guy in the world, And Dad's deal was always, in this great country, you can be whatever you want to be as long as you're willing to pay the price to get there. And I knew I wanted to play as long as I could play, but then I knew I wanted to coach.
I read that you carried a notebook with you everywhere when you were younger. Do you still do that?
Oh yeah.
Why?
I'm big that I think you're always learning. I think anytime you're around people, they may say something, you may pick up something, and you can write it down. Now for me, with your iPhone now, you got the notes app, so you're able to voice record it or put it into your notes app immediately. So I keep that with me. I don't just tote around a notebook as much as I did when I was little, but I used to always have those little notebooks in my back pocket that you could pull out like a newspaper reporter or whatever, because I think anytime you see something and I'm big on not wasting time. I'm big on always, if you're going to do something to try to make yourself better, do something to be moving. I'm a book reader and all that, but I'm always reading books either about football or about leadership. And we only get so much time on this earth, man. You got to make the most of it. So that was kind of me, and for whatever reason, that was me at a young age.
I was told by your dad that when you were a kid also, you would get your mom to go and buy all of the Athlon preseason magazines, the Lindy's preseason magazines, and he said you would read every single line of those magazines. So between the notebook and also getting those magazines, you just had this incredible thirst for information and knowledge. Where do you think that came from?
Oh God, I don't know, man. I was just always passionate about the game, always trying to learn more. I loved everything about the game, the pageantry of it. But the dad's right. We'd buy Athlon's, Lindy's. We'd order the complete set. I can remember when the NCAA basketball tournament would come out. USA Today would always, on Mondays, USA Today didn't come out on the weekend, but the Monday USA Today after the NCAA tournament was announced, they'd have a full section on every team, their starters, their backups, stats, everything. And I'd drive to Tupelo early Monday morning. When I was old enough to drive, I'd drive to Tupelo at age 15 and be waiting on the USA Todays to get there, and I'd get it and drive back and go to school that morning on Monday morning. I was just always been an information gatherer. How can we learn more? How can we be better? The more information, the more you know, the more you can do with it, and that was me.
I read that you learned how to read by sounding out the words in the sports section. Now, most people my age, we were Sesame Street. I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of goofy to say now, but I mean, you would watch Sesame Street to learn how to spell, and you read the sports section. What's the story there?
All right, so we had the Clarion Ledger and the Daily Journal in North Mississippi. We got both of them delivered every morning. I can remember getting up before school. Dad'd be drinking coffee, and he might have the Clarion Ledger Sports, so I'd have the Daily Journal, and then we'd swap. We were big Cardinals fans. Growing up in North Mississippi, most everybody was St. Louis Cardinals fans, particularly from that area. I loved Ozzie Smith, Pedro Guerrero, Zach Clark. I knew all those, Jack Clark, all those players. So I would read the box score, and I wanted to know what Ozzie did the night before. Well, I learned Smith was S-M-I-T-H, and Guerrero was G-U-E-R-R-E-R-O. And so I just kind of learned by their names and who they were. And, I was reading pretty quick just off box scores, mostly with St. Louis Cardinals baseball.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
During times of uncertainty, it's comforting to know we have a healthcare system in our community that's been committed to supporting us for well over a century. In this current time, we are standing together, and our bond is stronger than ever. KDMC, caring for our community like no one else can.
Before traveling to your game day destination this football season, be sure to download the M.Dot Traffic app to help you reach the game safely by checking ahead for crashes, closures, and construction with M.Dot Traffic app. Available free for both Apple and Android devices.
Where is your nearest Bank Plus? We're here. Here. And here. We're with you wherever, whenever you need us. Your bank. Your plus. Bank Plus.
At Forest General Hospital, we have the playbook for helping patients every day, every season. Our team is here to ensure patients receive safe and reliable medical care. Our mission and game plan is to do what is best for our patients. Our lineup of skilled healthcare professionals, together with advanced technology and treatment options, set Forest General apart. We are here to help you make winning decisions when it comes to your health. For more information about our services, visit forestgeneral.com.
Serving clients in Mississippi and the Deep South, Warren Brothers Media provides endless solutions for you. From wedding videography, social media advertising and promotion, photography, video production, and much more, Zach and Zane Warren walk with you every step of the way to meet your individual need. Contact Warren Brothers Media to get started on your project today by logging on to warrenbrothersmedia.com. Warren Brothers Media. Brothers serving others.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
You also started watching film at age 8 with your dad. How in the world did that come about? Was it a thing where he said, all right, we're going to take you with us in the film room, or was it a thing that you wanted to be a part of at age 8?
Yeah, now Dad never forced it on me. I'll give him credit, for that. I was never forced into this life. It was something where I was around and was captivated by it. I loved the players. And I was just there, so I would run around. It wasn't like I was in there all day long with them, but I'd run around and play. And like most kids, I'd throw the ball around, run around the field, and do all that kind of stuff. But at night, before it got time to go home, I would sit in there with them. And when you're around something, you pick it up and learn it. And like I said, I was just always around.
Was there a time that football really distanced itself? Was it around 8 years old where football just distanced? Everything else was in the rearview mirror at that point, and you, from eight on, you were like, I'm going to be a football coach, football player. Football is going to have such a huge impact on my life. When did it really distance, itself from everything else, every other interest?
Yeah, no, I knew I wanted to be a football coach, but I loved basketball. Loved baseball growing up. I ended up stopped playing that when I was in the 7th grade, really because Dad was honest with me again. He said, hey, man, you're not going to be the biggest guy. You need to pick 2 of them. I don't care which 2 you pick, but you've got to let one of them go so you can get in the weight room, because you're going to have to be. You can be a good player, but you're going to have to outwork everybody, and you're going to have to get in the weight room. So I ended up letting baseball go and going football and basketball. I didn't really give up on the basketball thing till I went to college. I went to Northwest Mississippi Junior College. To do that, Itawamba was my district. They had to release me. The football staff did release me, but the basketball coach, Marty Cooper, would not release me because he wanted me to play basketball. And so I had to give up basketball at that point. My plan originally was to go to Northwest and play both. And so at that point, basketball was done, and off I went with football all the way at that point.
Do you think that was a blessing in disguise at that point? That was, I don't want to say eliminated, but that your options were limited at that point. Do you think that was a blessing in disguise when you look back on it?
Maybe so. Maybe so. I think God always knows He's got a better plan for us than we do. I think it would have happened anyway. I was a good player, but was I good enough to play both all the time? No, and I'd have figured that out pretty quick.
So you go to, this is playing out like a movie at this point, your life. You go on to play at Amory, you referenced that earlier, under your dad, legendary football coach in high school football here in Mississippi, Bobby Hall, and he is as demanding as he is colorful. How did that impact your relationship with him at home? Did it make you stronger? Did you have those moments where maybe you were rethinking playing for your dad? I mean, how did that impact y'all's relationship?
No, it never did. Never in a negative way thought, man, I wish I wasn't playing for him. To me, like I said, he was a larger-than-life figure that happened to be my dad. I thought he was the best football coach in the world at any level. Still think he is. So it was, I became the starter at Amory as a junior, and Amory was coming off the 3 previous years we had gone 10-1, 15-0, 15-0. So we were coming off a 10-1 season, and we were 40-1 in our last 51 games. So I take over as a junior, and we go 11-2, which at Amory at that time was not good. We had just lost one more game in 1 year than we had in the previous 3 combined. So that was a rough year on me. It was a rough year on him and our family because I was the quarterback. We were not that good. I was an above-average player. I wasn't to the standard of what Amory quarterbacks had been. And, you're the coach's son, you're playing quarterback. Why ain't somebody else playing quarterback? Why aren't we better? Tough year. One of the hardest years of my life. I guess subconsciously felt like I was letting him down, letting Amory down. Battled through it. And then the next year we go 15-0 and have a magical year, led the state in scoring. And I was just a better player. I matured, I grew, I was a year stronger. And like a lot of kids, I was just better as a senior than I was as a junior. And we were better as a team too.
So you had a front row seat to one of the greatest runs, like you just talked about, at Amory High School. 3 titles. Every time they won the title, they won it when you were in 8th grade. Then they won it as you were a freshman holder. And then when you were a quarterback, later on in your career there at Amory. So you had a front row seat to one of the greatest runs in high school football in Mississippi. How would you say that impacted you in ways that you can still see today, being a part of such a successful run under your dad? There's a lot of subplots there. How would you say that affects you even now, today, in what you do?
Yeah, well, I think winning's a habit, so is losing. I was fortunate to grow up in a household where winning was a habit, and losing was unacceptable. And growing up in Amory, that became the way around the community. I tell my coaches all the time, if we recruit a kid from Bassfield, or we recruit a kid from Calhoun City or Taylorsville or South Panola, Louisville, I tell them all the time, I'm like, guys, they've seen way more pressure than what they're going to see at Southern Miss or wherever they go. And some people may get offended by that, but I got no problem saying when you grow up in a small town in Mississippi and the whole town expects you to win and play well on Friday night, that's a pressure unlike anything, I'll be honest, that I've not experienced since then. It was huge. And then you add the added deal of it was my dad and not wanting to let him down and not want to affect his legacy. It was great. It did impact my career, and I'm definitely proud I'm from there.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store in Richland. Now's the best time of the year to save more with Mahindra, and it all starts with zero. Pay zero down and 0% interest up to 60 months. That's more for less on many of Mahindra's best-selling models, with tractors that deliver more lift, capacity, fuel efficiency, and built-in weight. So get zero down, 0% interest for up to 60 months on Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, Mahindra, available at the Tractor Store in Richland.
This may not look like a typical farm, but our plants bloom in every corner of the state. From flowers to decorations, to fruits and vegetables, even homemade jellies and jams, we take pride in producing the best for you.
You may ask why we do this. Like my parents, we love what we do and plan to pass on our family business to future generations. It's our way of life, providing for our family and yours, the farm families of Mississippi.
I can totally see us cooking in this kitchen.
I can totally see us cooking like pros with natural gas.
Oh, I would love to soak in that tub.
I'd love to save energy and money with a natural gas water heater.
I can imagine cuddling up in here.
Because natural gas heating keeps the house comfortable when we need it.
We have to get this house.
We have to get natural gas.
We're investing in infrastructure to help bring comfort and savings to you. Visit centerpointenergy.com/natural gas benefits. CenterPoint Energy, always there.
We hope you're enjoying Audibles with Jason Scarborough. Watch every full, unedited episode via our digital platforms. Download our free Roku TV channel simply by searching for Audibles on your Roku device. Look us up on our YouTube channel too under Spirit Media Network and hit subscribe. And enjoy episodes of Audibles along with our other original content. Bookmark our website at spiritmedianet.com and stay up to date on what's happening on the Spirit Media Network, where we're changing the game.
The COVID vaccines are here.
Know the facts.
Get the shot. End the pandemic.
The vaccines are proven safe and effective.
The vaccine does not contain COVID.
Nor will it give you COVID.
Side effects are relatively minor.
Arm pain, fatigue, and low-grade fever.
COVID-19 vaccine protects you
and those you love.
As healthcare workers,
we're setting the example
for our patients and our community.
This is your shot.
Schedule your COVID-19 vaccine today.
So he told me a story. You're going to hear that a lot, apparently, in this interview. He told me a story. He had gone out to Rice University. They had just installed the midline option. It wasn't even in Mississippi at that point.
That's right.
And Coach Hall, Bobby Hall, says that, I brought this to Mississippi. So he flies out to Rice, learns it, takes it in, and then he comes back and he says he's watching a game downstairs one night, you're watching a game upstairs, and you run downstairs and tell him about something that Nebraska, who was running the midline option then, something that they did that looked kind of off, or maybe something y'all could insert. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, remember it well. Yeah, Dad did bring the midline to Mississippi. We were the first one to do it in 96. That was my 10th grade year. But we always did it where on the midline you're going to have some type of inserter in the play side B gap. And so we normally did that from an on-the-ball tight end or a wing position. Nebraska was doing it with the tailback out of the eye, which was kind of unheard of at the time because you didn't think the tailback could get there in time. But they were doing it, and I can remember running to the upstairs, leaning over the edge and saying, Dad, Nebraska just ran the midline out of the eye. Of course, Buddy Duke was down there with him, his O-line coach, a long time. They said, no, you can't do that. And I said, I'm telling you, turn it on. And they just did it. And they kept watching it, and they did, and I was a 10th grader, but like I said, football was my life. We would every Saturday was awesome. We either went to a college game or we hooked every TV that was back when you had coax cable and you had cable. So we'd go buy cable splitters, and I would, he'd come home Saturday morning from watching tape, and I'd be eating breakfast, and he'd say, all right, man, you gonna get us hooked up? And I'd go get every TV in the house, and we'd stack them, put them everywhere, and we'd split the coax cable, and we'd have 4 to 5 TVs going with every game on. We'd have one on ABC, one on NBC, one on ESPN. We'd have 5 TVs. That was before DVR and all those things,
Sure.
So we just have them all running live. We'd mute 4 of them and have one of them going with the sound.
So I can only imagine what your man cave is going to look like.
Yeah.
Once you get settled here in Hattiesburg, I can only imagine. Can I come over sometime and watch?
Yeah.
I mean, that man cave is going to be pretty special. So what were your plans when you have a successful career in Amory, playing under your dad? What were your expectations and goals, once you graduated from Amory? What did you have?
Yeah, so, I went to Northwest Community College, was just glad to have the opportunity. I was a short quarter. I like to tell recruits I was a short quarterback before being a short quarterback was cool. Nobody wanted me. My own junior college didn't want me, like we talked about, and I went to Northwest, and that was such a blessing because they were a program that was winning. Bobby Ray Franklin was the head coach. Scott Maxfield was the offensive coordinator, and Scott Maxfield's the head coach at Henderson State, now a D2 school. And Coach Maxfield was on the cutting edge of football at that time. We were no huddle spread. This is 99 and 2000 when nobody was doing it. We had a lot of Bobby Petrino influence in our offense because Coach Petrino was at Louisville and they were recruiting that school, and there was a lot of trade outs of offensive philosophy. And so I went from running the option under my dad to going to junior college, and we're in the gun 4 wide every snap and just lighting it up. And that was a huge impact on my career too, and something I'm thankful for. And I had a great career, and still, not a lot of recruitment going on. Just wanted to keep playing, wanted to get my degree, wanted to coach, and wanted to play as long as I could again to learn. Went to Murray State. When I got there, the offensive coordinator was Dan Werner, who a lot of people in Mississippi remembers the OC at Ole Miss when they were winning during the freeze era. And Dan left 2 weeks into it to go to Miami. We got a new offensive coordinator, and I could tell right off the bat he thought I was too short to play for him. I could just feel it and sense it. Redshirted there that year, and then transferred to North Alabama with Mark Hudspeth and Kenny Edenfield, and was blessed to have a great career there. And off and running, man, I got done and was ready to start coaching,
You won the Harlan Hill Trophy in 2003. For folks that don't know, that's the Division II equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. That's a pretty big honor.
Yeah, it was. I played at Northwest and North Alabama. We had a lot of really good players. And at quarterback, as you know and everybody knows, if you're going to get accolades at quarterback, if you're going to win, you got to be in a program, number one, that's well coached and structures the program around the quarterback. I was blessed in 2 situations like that. We had a lot of good players around us, and we were on the cutting edge schematically. And I loved my time at North Al. We had a great 2 years there, made a lot of good friends, and had a great run there. And like I said, I wanted to coach. I didn't want a GA. I felt like I'd been coaching my whole life already, and I just probably thought I was way smart. Matter of fact, I thought I was smarter then than I think I am now. I was just one of those young guys that had it all figured out. So I took every job from there that I could find that nobody wanted where I could call plays. And so I say we because my wife, she's a good old Amory girl, and we got married right there after that year, and we were off and running all over this country.
Now, you talked about off and running. I mean, it's a lot of stops, places like Presbyterian, Arkansas, Monticello, even Memphis. When you look back at it now, have you had time to reflect on it and look back at those stops? What lessons did you learn in those stops that basically brought you to where you are now? What lessons did you take from those stops?
Yeah, number one is, I'm a guy that doesn't focus on problems. Let's identify a problem and let's start finding solutions. And when you coach at places like Presbyterian, Arkansas, Monticello, Henderson State, Southwest Baptist, West Alabama, those places, you're going to have issues and problems every day. There's a lot of things that people that are negative could focus on the negatives. We were always, hey man, we got to figure out a way to get it done. How are we going to do that? What's our recruiting niche? How can we get kids here? And then what system can we implement to move the ball and score points? I think a lot of that comes from my dad. My dad's always been a big, there's an answer out there. It may not be the answer you want, and it may not be easy to find, but there is an answer out there, and there's a way to get it done. And man, we moved all over the country finding solutions, and Lord blessed us. Every move was a little bit better, and ultimately got us to here.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
Before traveling to your game day destination this football season, be sure to download the M.Dot Traffic app to help you reach the game safely by checking ahead for crashes, closures, and construction with M.Dot Traffic app. Available free for both Apple and Android devices.
At Forest General Hospital, we have the playbook for helping patients every day, every season. Our team is here to ensure patients receive safe and reliable medical care. Our mission and game plan is to do what is best for our patients. Our lineup of skilled healthcare professionals, together with advanced technology and treatment options, set Forest General apart. We are here to help you make winning decisions when it comes to your health. For more information about our services, visit forestgeneral.com.
Where is your nearest Bank Plus? We're here. Here. And here. We're with you wherever. Whenever you need us. Your bank. Your plus. Bank Plus.
Serving clients in Mississippi and the Deep South, Warren Brothers Media provides endless solutions for you. From wedding videography, social media advertising and promotion, photography, video production, and much more, Zach and Zane Warren walk with you every step of the way to meet your individual need. Contact Warren Brothers Media to get started on your project today by logging on to WarrenBrothersMedia.com. Warren Brothers Media. Brothers serving others.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
The COVID vaccines are here.
Know the facts.
Get the shot.
End the pandemic.
The vaccines are proven safe and effective.
Vaccine does not contain COVID,
nor will it give you COVID.
Side effects are relatively minor and include
arm pain, fatigue, and low-grade fever.
The COVID-19 vaccine protects you
and the ones you love.
As healthcare workers, we're setting the example for our patients
and community.
This is your shot.
Schedule your COVID-19 vaccine today.
So as collegiate head coach at West Alabama, West Georgia, you win 3 conference championships. And I loved your quote. I was just telling you this. I may not know a whole lot about the Georgias and Alabamas, but I know a lot about the West Georgias and the West Alabamas. That was a pretty good quote. Help me frame that up for folks that didn't hear that.
Yeah, what I meant was Southern Miss wasn't getting a guy that has had a silver spoon in his mouth. I've not been at Alabama. I've not been at Georgia. I've not been at Notre Dame and Ohio State. I don't know what it's like to have every resource you could possibly have to get it done. I've had to make it work and win at places that traditionally have not been winning. And I told Jeremy and Dr. Bennett that when they were interviewing me. I said, look, hope I don't offend you when I tell you this, and I hope I don't come across the wrong way, but this is going to be the easiest job I've ever had. You know, I mean, Southern Miss has won forever. Southern Miss has won a lot when they've had good coaches, and they've still won when they had bad coaches. You know, so now I just felt really comfortable about coming here, knowing the area, knowing the resources that we had. To rewind back to West Alabama, when we went there, they were coming off a 1-9 season. They had never won an outright conference championship. They had never, you know, we did all kind of great things in 3 years. We won our first outright conference title. We beat perennial national powers North Al, Valdosta, and Delta State in the same year for the first time ever. We beat Valdosta at Valdosta for the first time ever. We hosted the first ever playoff game. So in a 3-year time frame, we did all these great things that a lot of people thought you couldn't do. And we maximized every resource. We figured out what our recruiting niche was, and we were blessed. That took us to West Georgia, who was another place that had never won an outright conference title. They had never hosted a playoff game. They had won 23 games combined in the 6 years before we got there. We won 24 in our first 2 years. So we were able again to figure out what our recruiting deal was going to be, what we were going to sell, and how we wanted to build it schematically with the type of kids we're going to be to get, and then we were off and running, and really proud of those 6 years. You know, I tell people all the time, I don't know what the good Lord's got in store for me. We may win a ton of national titles one day, but I don't know if it'll ever be bigger than winning back-to-back Gulf South Conference titles at West Alabama and Livingston, Alabama, which is a great place. Me and my wife love living there, but at the end of the day, it's a town of 3,000 people with no Walmart. You know what I mean? So
was that a deal breaker?
Huh? No, it wasn't a deal breaker. We loved it there. We loved the people there. And I don't know if I've ever, you know, until I got here at Southern Miss, I don't know if I've had an administration that ever worked as hard to give you what you needed or wanted to win than they did. And again, man, there's a way to get it done everywhere you go. You just got to figure it out. To me, if you can get good players, you got to figure out how you're going to get good players. And then you got to hire good coaches that are great teachers and treat people the right way. And you got a chance from there, you know. So.
Speaking of figuring things out, the last 2 seasons before you came to Southern, you were calling plays at Tulane. Right. You guys were averaging close to 400 yards a game, scored 30 or more points in 8 of the last 9 regular season games. I mean, that's coming a long way from the midline option to be putting up that kind of yardage per game and putting up those kind of numbers. So how would you say that you've evolved as an offensive genius in a lot of ways?
Well, I don't know about that, but you know, we want to have a very multiple system. It's a very complex system. It's an NFL-based run and pass scheme. And we want to start with what type of quarterback do we have, you know, because we've got to be able to build. There's programs from the NFL all the way down to 7th grade. They're either quarterback developers or they're not. And we can figure, you know, you can look at the NFL and see. There's programs every year that are drafted high in the draft, and when they draft a quarterback, everybody's like, oh man, they ain't going to work out, you know, because you've got to structure your program around quarterback success. It's the hardest thing to do in the world, in my opinion. And so we start there, you know, where are we gonna, you know, how are we gonna develop it around the quarterback? And then from there, we've had years where we threw it way more than we ran it. We've had years where we run it way more than we throw it. I will say this, as a head coach, one thing I'm proud of is we've always built a complete program. I think to win championships, you have to have a physicalness and a toughness about you. I think that stood the test of time. So you got to be able to establish the run some way, somehow, and you got to be able to play defense. And we're building a program here. We talk all the time when I address the staff. We're not independent contractors. Our D coordinator isn't on his own doing what he wants to do. Our offensive line coach isn't on his own doing what he wants to do. We are, how can we work together to build the best program that we can be? My 6 years as head coach, we led the conference in total defense or you know, yards per game defense every year. So we want to build a complete program.
I told someone the other day, I can't remember who it was, we were talking about the hire at Southern Miss and you coming to Southern Miss and the time at Tulane and the other stops. And I said his offensive playbook can be described as just a big pot of offensive gumbo.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a little bit of everything. The midline option from the days with your dad, the Bobby Petrino offense. I read it as a multiple formation, power spread, no huddle, hurry up. That's how you described it. Big pot of gumbo, right?
That is, it is. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a good way. That's what we'll start telling recruits, especially the ones from Louisiana and South Mississippi. No, but, you know, number one is what can our quarterback do? If he's a runner, we have the ability to run him. We have the ability to mix option in with it. That's been in my background, obviously, since the beginning. If he's a thrower, you know, we've been heavily influenced, like you said, with the Petrino system, with a lot of NFL stuff from the Saints to the Patriots. You know, when I was coming up at West Alabama, when I got there in 2008, that was when Coach Saban took over there. We were 45 minutes down the road. I went up there all the time. I mean, I wore, you know, I-59 out from Livingston to Tuscaloosa, just being around as much as I could, you know, with those guys. And it is a big system. We use tight ends. I love tight ends. I love hybrid running backs that can line up in the backfield and out of the backfield. So we'll be very multiple with our personnels and try to keep the defense off balance. But we got to establish the run in some type of way, and we've got to be able to create explosive pass plays. That's the non-negotiables. No matter what we do, how are we going to establish the run? How are we going to create explosive pass plays?
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
Our favorite venues, watching our favorite teams while tailgating with the best fans in the South. We're all back to full capacity this fall. That's why now is the time to book your stay for your favorite college football weekend at Mississippi's premier full-service bed and breakfast. Kay Tyler and the staff at Cart Barn Inn will meet every expectation of you, your family, and your friends. Call and book your reservation today at 662-983-7829 or log on to cartbarninn.com. Cart Barn Inn, cozy luxury in a brown paper bag.
We hope you're enjoying Audibles with Jason Scarborough. Watch every full, unedited episode via our digital platforms. Download our free Roku TV channel simply by searching for Audibles on your Roku device. Look us up on our YouTube channel too under Spirit Media Network and hit subscribe. And enjoy episodes of Audibles along with our other original content. Bookmark our website at spiritmedianet.com and stay up to date on what's happening on the Spirit Media Network, where we're changing the game.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
When it comes to cooking meals, drying clothes, heating water, and my home, nothing beats natural gas from CenterPoint Energy. It's my most affordable energy option. It costs less to use than electricity, propane, and heating oil. So if you already have natural gas, keep it. If you're replacing an appliance, choose it. Natural gas, your best choice. Safe and affordable, rest assured.
For more on the benefits of a natural gas home, visit centerpointenergy.com/natural gas benefits. CenterPoint Energy, always there.
During times of uncertainty, it's comforting to know we have a healthcare system in our community that's been committed to supporting us for well over a century. In this current time, we are standing together, and our bond is stronger than ever. KDMC, caring for our community like no one else can.
I read a quote that you said you were going to be a Division I head coach by the time you were 40.
Yeah.
When Southern Miss called, your mind had to start, those gears had to start turning like, could this be it? Mm-hmm. How did you reflect on all the stops previous and balance that with keeping yourself, kind of keeping your emotions in check and kind of balancing that with this could be the call, this could be the moment?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I've had so many near misses, so many times I've been told, oh man, you're just a D2 coach, small-time coach, that me and my wife had not necessarily giving up on that, but it was more of a, we were really happy at Tulane. We had a young freshman quarterback there that we loved, that we knew we was going to build this program around. I loved working for Willie Fritz. We had just bought a house. Matter of fact, the day Jeremy contacted me, we were moving into a new house. Yep, I called my wife. She's moving in. I called her and said, hey, guess what? But not that we had given up on it, but we had kind of just gotten to the point where, hey, wherever God wants us now, we had been around this thing a bunch of times, and we were happy at Tulane. And there's a lot of places you can coach in this profession where you can be really miserable. It can be miserable environments. Willie Fritz builds an environment that's very much a family environment that uplifts kids. And my morals married up with his, so I was happy and I was good. Obviously, when I got the call from Jeremy, Southern Miss has always been one to me that just from afar, I just looked at it and said, man, that makes a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense for me. It'd make a lot of sense for Southern Miss. But the administration has to feel the same way. The blessing in all this and the timing of it was Dr. Bennett's vision for this university, coupled with the way Jeremy leads the athletic department and his values and morals. Like, it's such an easy alignment with me and what I do. I understand, again, I've not been at the Alabamas and Georgias, but I've been at the West Alabamas and West Georgias. I understand how important the football coach is to the overall mission of the university. It's a responsibility I take very seriously, and I want to help grow this university. I want to help impact this community, and I think we can. If we get back to winning football games, it helps everybody. It helps Crescent City Grill that we're sitting at right now. Winning football games helps these guys, and I understand that. So I'm glad it worked out.
So December 7th, 2020, the day you're formally announced as Southern Miss head football coach. When you look back at all the stops, as you said earlier, all the near misses, all the almost, all the maybes, what did that moment finally mean to you to stand there next to Jeremy McClain, looking at a fan base that they're hungry? They're hungry, they're used to winning, and they're hungry. And now you've got the opportunity to lead them back to the days that they used to experience. Looking back at all the stops and maybes and near misses, what did that moment mean to you?
It just meant the world. I was very thankful. I'm a guy that has great faith, and just really thankful to God for bringing me to this moment. Thankful to my wife, for everything we've been through together. To get to this point, because you have a vision for where you want to go, and the road towards that vision is never what you think it is. But I'm a big believer that if you keep picking it up and putting it down, you can eventually get there, no matter what happens. And we did. There was a level of comfortability. A lot of times people get their first head job. You see it all over the country, and it's just not a good fit. You hear it all the time. I think he's a good coach, but he wasn't a good fit there. I'm a good fit here. This is a good fit for me. I had no inkling at all that I'm not going to be able to do this job, or we can't get it done here, or what's it going to take to get. Immediately, from a recruiting standpoint, from a hiring standpoint, I knew what our recruiting niche was. I knew what type of people I needed to hire here. I knew where we fit. I knew the roster, because I'd recruited against a lot of the kids. I'd played them the last 2 years. So there was just a level of comfortability that allowed us to hit the ground running. And I think you've seen that in this first signing class, that you don't always get with your first head job. So I was very appreciative of that as well.
Southern Miss is a fan base. We talked about this fan base. They're hungry. Mm-hmm. And Southern Miss has had one of the weirdest seasons in college football. Jay Hopson steps down after a game. Scotty Walden, the interim coach, he takes off mid-season to go to another job. And they had, I think it was like 4 or 5 different bye weeks because of cancellations due to the pandemic. It's just been a weird kind of time here for Southern Miss. How do you rally the faithful? I guess what's the first step in kind of rallying the faithful and fixing all that?
Well, the first thing we've said is, hey, I understand this area. I understand this school. I think we've got plenty of resources to where if we're all banded together, pulling the rope together in one direction, we can be the number one group of 5 playing football school in America. That's our vision. But we're also just small enough to where if we're frayed, if our resources are frayed and split and divided, we don't have everything we need. So my deal is this: we've got to get back together. We got to get behind this. And you hear the old thing, well, if y'all will start winning, we'll come back to games. Well, my thing on that is that's kind of like going up to a girl and saying, I kind of like you. If you'll start liking me first, I'll like you back. My thing is, how about we both just like each other at the same time, and let's get this thing rolling together. We're gonna win. Let's be a part of it on the front end. Let's don't wait. Because if you'll get in on the front end, we can get this thing going faster. I've said from the moment I took the job, we had 8 months from when I took the job to pour the foundation to September. September, year 1 starts. What's that going to look like? Because that foundation to me is the jump off point for this program. If we go 4-8, we got a long way to go. We didn't jump very far. If we go 10-2, heck of a jump right there. We're close to getting to that vision. So we got 8 months. We're now a month into it. Now we're down to 7 months. To pour the foundation together, and that's everything. That's recruiting, that's off-season workouts, that's hiring a staff, but that's also getting everybody fired up around the community to get back on board, buying season tickets, supporting what we're doing, selling positive energy. And man, we're rolling as fast as you can roll. Somebody asked me the other day, said, have you taken a breath yet? I said, oh no, we won't do that. This is the 3rd time I've taken over a program. Me and my wife understand I'll take a breath probably in December. It just takes a year to get the program running. This time next year, the program will be running. The kids will understand how we do things. They'll be able to run it. The coaches, the community, the athletic administration around us, the support staff, the academic people. But every day you're training, you're pushing, you're teaching people how to act within our program, how we're going to treat people, and what this program's supposed to look like. And it's going great. We've had a great month, but we are rolling.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
Before traveling to your game day destination this football season, be sure to download the M.Traffic app to help you reach the game safely by checking ahead for crashes, closures, and construction with M.Traffic app. Available free for both Apple and Android devices.
At Forest General Hospital, we have the playbook for helping patients every day, every season. Our team is here to ensure patients receive safe and reliable medical care. Our mission and game plan is to do what is best for our patients. Our lineup of skilled healthcare professionals, together with advanced technology and treatment options, set Forest General apart. We are here to help you make winning decisions when it comes to your health. For more information about our services, visit forestgeneral.com.
Where is your nearest Bank Plus? We're here. Here. And here. We're with you wherever. Whenever you need us. Your bank. Your plus. Bank Plus.
Serving clients in Mississippi and the Deep South, Warren Brothers Media provides endless solutions for you. From wedding videography, social media advertising and promotion, photography, video production, and much more, Zach and Zane Warren walk with you every step of the way to meet your individual need. Contact Warren Brothers Media to get started on your project today by logging on to warrenbrothersmedia.com. Warren Brothers Media. Brothers serving others.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
The COVID vaccines are here.
Know the facts.
Get the shot. End the pandemic.
The vaccines are proven safe and effective.
The vaccine does not contain COVID.
Nor will it give you COVID.
Side effects are relatively minor.
Arm pain, fatigue, and low-grade fever.
COVID-19 vaccine protects you
and those you love.
As healthcare workers,
we're setting the example
for our patients
and our community.
This is your shot.
Schedule your COVID-19 vaccine today.
I watched your introductory press conference. You hit it out of the park, by the way. I'm not saying that because you're sitting in front of me. I mean, I thought, man, he just hit it out of the park. And I texted Jeremy McClain, the Southern Miss athletic director, and I said, man, you just hit not a home run, but a grand slam. I said, and Will just hit it out of the park at his press conference. He texted back, North Mississippi for the win. I thought that was interesting because he's from North Mississippi, you're from North Mississippi, so when you reflect back on that, a boy from North Mississippi, now the 22nd head football coach at Southern Miss. When you hear that, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, again, just humbled, thankful, just think it's a great fit all the way around. The thing that really bothered me when I first took this job, it didn't bother me, but I was just like, man, I don't understand, is there was a aura about this place that we used to win, but maybe we don't have the resources to win like that anymore. Or maybe for whatever reason, there was all these reasons why we're not winning. I don't really think those are good reasons. Everybody says, well, back then, so-and-so didn't play football and we didn't have all that. Well, that's true. There are more football playing schools in the South now. There's also way more population now than there was then. Mississippi's grown from 2.5 million people to almost 3 now. Well, that's a lot more people, so there's a lot more prospects. So I just think it's all about perspective and how you look at it. Here's what I know. I know you can only sign 25 players a year, all right? There's plenty of good football players all around us to get 25 a year. And I know that we've won in the past. We've got great history and tradition, and we got a fan base that's hungry and expects to win. So there's a misconception out there that the resources were not in place to get it done. That is a false misconception. I can tell you right now. Now, maybe that's coming from people that have always been at the Alabamas and Georgias and all that. But, from a Conference USA standpoint in our league and where we're at, we are on the upper tier from a resource standpoint around the Group of 5 level. There's no reason why we can't get back to being what we once were.
In your press conference and other spots, and you and I have swapped messages on social media back and forth over the years, you said your faith is very, very important to you. Why?
It's just the way I was raised. My mom and my grandmother, who was her mom, were deep-rooted faith people. I just grew up in a home where, the good Lord knows what's best for you, and you're going to have bad days, but if you're a Christian, you always know at the end of the day you're going to a better place. I was raised in a home where the golden rule was critical, where you treat others the way you want to be treated. And look, man, I sin all the time. I don't pretend like I don't say an ugly word. I don't get mad. I don't fall short. And I tell my players that. But at the end of the day, you ask for forgiveness and you move on and you try to get better. And that's what we're all, what I want is a football program that impacts people in a positive way, that treats other. We define a good person in our program as someone who treats others the way they want to be treated. And it's simple, and we want a program that impacts people in a positive way. One at a time. We tell our guys all the time, one relationship at a time. You know what I mean? If you open the door for a young lady, all right, if you see a piece of trash on the ground and you pick it up and somebody sees it, if everybody in our program would just impact somebody in a positive way every day, we'll impact a lot of people. And with everything you see going on right now, I think we can be a light in this community and do that.
You grew up with the 3 F's, right?
Yeah. Faith, family, and football, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. That's me. I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't play golf. I love my wife. I do. I'm one of the few men in the world that's happily married. She's my best friend. We like to hang out with each other. I love my 2 boys, but I love my players. I love football. I love what football does for young men. I especially love what football does for young kids that didn't grow up in great situations. Man, I'm fired up to be here.
I was just going to ask you, what do you do when you're not coaching, recruiting, watching film, watching one of the 150 NFL games that you typically DVR and go and watch for, different wrinkles and different offenses and defenses? What do you do if you don't hunt and fish? What do you do to just kind of wind down and chill out?
Yeah, I'm a multitasker, so I don't really know. My wife, if she was sitting here, she would say, he's never not doing something, but I love to go out to eat. We love to go to the beach. I love to have a good time. I do. You know, I think if my staff was in here right now, they would tell you, man, Will loves football and Will loves having a big time. That's kind of my deal. I think there's a way to work really hard, but also have a good time doing it. I don't think there's a misconception out there. I tell our players all the time that working hard equals grinding, equals miserable, equals not fun. We're building a culture right now. I think they would tell you that. I think your college football experience ought to be something you live the rest of your life wishing you could go back and do it again. It should be fun. And we worked hard this morning. We had agility drills this morning. We had plyometrics, but we did it in a competitive way where it was fun and it was engaging, and it's okay to laugh and smile. You know, if you win, you ought to smile. You ought to enjoy it. And if you lose, you ought to be mad and you ought to jump back up there and go again. You know what I mean? Competition doesn't have to be a negative word. You know, competition should be something that drives you to be the best you can be. And that's kind of me, man. I like to have a big time, and I like football.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network. We hope you're enjoying Audibles with Jason Scarborough. Watch every full, unedited episode via our digital platforms. Download our free Roku TV channel simply by searching for Audibles on your Roku device. Look us up on our YouTube channel too under Spirit Media Network and hit subscribe. And enjoy episodes of Audibles along with our other original content. Bookmark our website at spiritmedianet.com and stay up to date on what's happening on the Spirit Media Network, where we're changing the game.
Our favorite venues, watching our favorite teams while tailgating with the best fans in the South. We're all back to full capacity this fall. That's why now is the time to book your stay for your favorite college football weekend at Mississippi's premier full-service bed and breakfast. Kay Tyler and the staff at Cart Barn Inn will meet every expectation of you, your family, and your friends. Call and book your reservation today at 662-983-7829 or log on to cartbarninn.com. Cart Barn Inn, cozy luxury in a brown paper bag.
The best sweet potatoes in the world are grown right here in Mississippi. Full of vitamin C, dietary fiber, and potassium, the sweet potato is a nutritional powerhouse. You can eat them as a side to a juicy steak, cut up and fried, or as a dessert with your favorite meal. But really, there are hundreds of ways to prepare and eat Mississippi sweet potatoes. If it comes from this soil, it comes from a farm family of Mississippi, providing for our family and yours.
The COVID vaccines are here.
Know the facts.
Get the shot.
End the pandemic.
The vaccines are proven safe and effective.
Vaccine does not contain COVID.
Nor will it give you COVID.
Side effects are relatively minor and include
arm pain, fatigue, and low-grade fever.
The COVID-19 vaccine protects you
and the ones you love.
As healthcare workers, we're setting the example for our patients
and community.
This is your shot.
Schedule your COVID-19 vaccine today.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store in Richland. Now's the best time of the year to save more with Mahindra, and it all starts with zero. Pay zero down and 0% interest up to 60 months. That's more for less on many of Mahindra's best-selling models, with tractors that deliver more lift, capacity, fuel efficiency, and built-in weight. So get zero down, 0% interest for up to 60 months on Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, Mahindra, available at the Tractor Store in Richland.
I think successful people understand that they have had a lot of people invest in them. So who would you say has had the biggest impact on your coaching career up to this point?
Oh, wow. My dad, Willie Fritz, Bobby Wallace. I worked for the great Bobby Wallace at West Alabama. Coach Wallace won 3 national titles. Coach Wallace really taught me that, if you treat people right and you make them happy, football doesn't have to be that miserable environment like a lot of people think. You can be happy and still win. And, so those 3 people from close to me, from afar, I've always been a Bill Walsh guy, a Jim Tressel guy, Pete Carroll. Those are 3 guys that I've always tried to. I love Pete Carroll's positivity from afar, how he's always competition, competitive nature. And Bill Walsh was the first guy to me that said you can outthink people instead of out-tough them and win football games. And then Jim Tressel, I just always admired. He was a small college guy, that got his chance at Ohio State, and he won a national title and built a powerhouse, and his players loved him. He was always first class, and I just thought he handled things in a first-class nature all the time. So from afar, it'd be those three, and then from people that I've actually been around, it'd be those other three.
Last question, and I know we're still early before this might be determined, but how do you want Will Hall's impact on Southern Miss and Hattiesburg? How do you want to be remembered here?
Oh, man. So our vision right now for our program is to be the best Group of 5 football team in America and to develop real men. 10 years from now, obviously it'll be easy to measure if we've done the football part. That's the great thing about our job. You're measured by wins and losses. It is what it is. You can either accept that or you don't accept it. We accept that here. It is what it is. It's a bottom line business on that. But I think also I want to be measured by, what are these kids doing now? Did they come out of our program? Are they better fathers and husbands? The young men that we came in, I tell my guys every day, one day you're going to have kids. And ultimately, if they get to live a better life than what you got to live, no matter how great your life was, you know what I mean? If they're in a situation that's better than yours, then you've made some good decisions and you've done right. And no matter where you come from, you're here now. You got a chance to get a degree. You got a chance to play college football. What a blessing, And so that's my deal, man. We want to be the best Group of 5 football team in America, and we want to develop real men. And so what do I want my legacy to be? I want to have a bunch of people that played football here that are out in their communities impacting people in a positive way. And along the way, we got to win football games. Because if we don't, I won't be here very long. It's just the way it is. The more games you win, the more people you touch. It broadens your territory where you can reach and touch more people.
Look, thanks for sitting down and doing this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm glad you're back in Mississippi. So when you came back to Mississippi, I said, we got to get Will for season 2 of Audibles. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Oh, man, like you said, I'm really excited to be here. I appreciate you asking me to be on. Like I tell people all the time, Southern Miss fans, I hope they're getting excited. And all the people from the surrounding area that are on the fence and don't really have a team, be with us. Because we're going to represent you as a Mississippian the right way. We're going to impact people in a positive way, and this is something you want to be a part of.
Hey, best of luck to you this year. I'll be watching.
Oh, I appreciate it. I know you will, and I know everybody will, and we're going to get it done.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for another episode of Audibles with Jason Scarborough.